name is Joy Azmitia, and I work at Russell and Volkening Literary Agency. I'm a junior agent. I've been here about 4 years, and I'm one of those fortunate people who gets to see the publishing process from the very beginning to the very end. I like to call agents the Jerry Maguires of publishing. We don't work with athletes, but we do bring the talent to the publishers. As an agent working at an established literary agency, we have authors who have had their long-standing publishers and editors. They've been working with the same editorial team for years, and that's very great and wonderful, but not everybody is that fortunate, and sometimes they need a literary agent to help them out. And one way in which clients do approach us is through the query letter. Query letters are now sent through email mostly. I think everyone's accepting electronic submissions, but some people still like the physical feel of receiving a letter, and it's easier to read. So we often get query letters. We read these letters, and if we like the sound of the letter, or if the author's already been published, it has some credentials, maybe they've just been published in some journals or quarterlies, they've written a couple of short stories, or maybe they were published by a university press, we'll get in touch and we'll ask to see the manuscript. I think part of agenting has a lot to do with love and with really admiring a style and a genre. Most agents will work within a particular genre, or they stick to certain areas of fiction or nonfiction because they have some knowledge of that area or expertise. It might also be because they have a lot of contacts in that area, and it just makes it easier for them to represent the book properly. Once we decide that we love a manuscript and we absolutely have to have it, we generally contact the author, phone call or email, and we'll ask them if we can represent their book. And that's where the fun really begins, because we'll send the author an agreement, an agency-author agreement, and we'll start working together. Before we send anything off to the editors, I like to work with my clients on making their proposal or their manuscript the best possible product it can be. I like to work with my clients on what I call pre-editing the book or proposal, and it'll generally take anywhere between 3 weeks to sometimes a lot longer, a couple of months, if it's a pretty hefty book or if it needs a lot of revision. Nobody likes to face rejection, so we do as much as we can to improve it beforehand. We're only increasing our chances of getting the book published. I'll draw up a submission list and a submission letter and send that to the author so that they can look it over, but also so that they know who's seeing their manuscript. This is part of the agent's job, is really to know not only the market, but to know the editors, to know the publishers, to know who works with what, and basically what they do best. When the offer comes, it's usually an advance amount, and the terms of rights, whether it's world rights, US and Canada, or North American rights is usually what that's called. If the author and I are happy with the offer, I'll usually call up the editor and let them know, or sometimes I'll email them and let them know and just say, hey, we are delighted and we'd love to work with you, and let's move forward. And then I get in touch with the contracts manager, or they get in touch with me, and we begin the negotiations process in fuller detail. I'm generally negotiating to keep certain rights or to make sure that I'm getting the best possible terms for the clients. We might negotiate things like audio rights, ebook rights, foreign rights, TV, dramatic rights, and we sort of figure out who's going to keep what rights and who would be the best possible person, whether the publisher or myself, the agent, to explore those opportunities. So I send a contract to the author for signature, they send it to me, we send it to the publishers, and we have ourselves a deal. Once the book is handed off to the editor, I'm involved in the process and sort of kept in the loop, but I'm not really hands-on with editing or publicity or marketing. That's really the publisher's job. I'll be working on other avenues for the clients, such as selling foreign rights, audio rights, TV and film rights. And that kind of gives you a basic description of what we do and how we bring the book from query letter to final finished product.